right, so fastball grip. Splitter. All right, slider. About the cutter. All right, the curveball. And the sinker ball.
Sink?
Sinker, yeah. You don't
I know how to sink.
So you're always trying to impart different kinds of spin on the baseball to make it move. Well, a knuckleball is different than that in the sense that you're trying to subtract spin completely.
Show me the grip and the mechanics involved in the release.
Okay, so we call this the horseshoe of the baseball for obvious reasons. You just take the fingernail, I take my fingernail and my pointer finger and my middle finger and I dig it into the leather right behind the seam. So it looks a little bit like that. And I keep my thumb off the seam on the side so it doesn't want to spin. I like it when it comes out, it just comes out very smoothly. And if I'm grabbing hold of the seam, it's gonna want to catch and spin it a little bit. So I stay off the seams for me. I keep my wrists locked at as close to a 90-degree angle as I can. And then when I throw it, I just kind of bring my hand forward just a little bit and I release it at the opportune moment. So, but that opportune moment has taken a long time to figure out when that is, you know.
If you could show us the cutter grip one final time and then tell me how, when that baseball left your hand, how you knew that cutter was going to do what you needed it to do.
All right. This was my four-seam fastball before the cutter appeared, before the Lord gave me the cutter. This is the same grip that I threw with the cutter. But now this pitch no longer was straight no more. Now this pitch is moving. It was four-seam fastball. So now what made this pitch good was that this pitch was having the same rotation of a four-seam fastball. And when it was approaching to the plate, it will move. No fastball have to do that. No fastball could do that.
This is MLB tonight. See, this is a cross-seam fastball right there. The reason I generated so much movement is because I also was different. I have fingers that are really flexible. But what he does is he holds a cross-seam fastball. That's a cross-seam fastball right there for the fans watching at home. Cross-seam fastball. From there, he moves to the changeup. He'll move this way to the changeup. And that's what you see. It's the same rotation. It's going to leave the fingers the same way. But this finger is so weak, the ring finger is so weak that it doesn't generate much speed, but this one is. Now, when you get those two together, and that's why his changeup is so hard, and you center it with this one, it's almost like throwing a fastball. You're not going to generate the same speed, but it's almost like throwing a fastball. When he learns to move this middle finger off a little bit, involve the pinky and involve the ring finger, which is what we teach the kids in a circle changeup. Try to throw the ball with the ring finger. That's when when the ball dies and also dives a little bit.
It's awesome.
You're going to see some of those guys pronate a little bit, not really violent pronation, but really just taking the circle a little bit down so that the ring finger can get on top of the ball.
All right, my guy, I'm giving you my grips. I give nobody my grips, bro.
I know.
All right, so before I get into grips, man, I'm going to be straight up because I know there's going to be young pitchers watching this, man. I truly believe grips, pitching, mechanics, I truly believe it's all individual and unique to the individual. This is what I try to tell people, like, I hold the ball weird just because naturally in my hand, that's more comfortable. Like, I'm going to show you. But my grip is not going to work for probably most people. There might be a few guys out there who it might work for. So this is the grip. I'm like very torqued. So I'm across the ball. Like a normal, so if you look at my thumb, like a normal person for sinker or something like is like this, like straight up on the two seam. I take the ball and I torque it this way. So it's essentially almost a one seam. I'm throwing, it's coming off off the outside of my middle finger.
Yeah, I want to see that split because you and I have been working on that changeup for a long time.
Yeah, man, we have, man. But Giselman, man, so like I said, I've always been someone who I've held the ball on the inside part of the seam. Sinker. I used to try change-ups on the inside part. Giselman throws his on the outside. So I was down there going through when I was with my calf tear. We were just like talking, going over stuff. Man, first one I threw nasty. I literally just moved my ring finger from the inside of the seam to the outside. Instead of throwing it where it's coming off like my sinker, the one seam, I'm throwing it where it's coming off the outside, and I'm rolling like the inside of my finger. Now I feel like I'm almost pulling, man. This thing, when I throw it right, man. So now it's rolling off like this. Rather than rolling off like this where it kind of runs from you. Now it's like pulling it down.
So let's get to the slider and the cutter.
Yep. So slider, I throw a spike slider, man. So my slider is right here. It's almost like people throw curveballs from here. Honestly, I don't think my slider, I think curveball on my slider. Like
so you're getting to the front of it?
Like I'm throwing it like this, like kind of over it. And when I really want to make it big, I'll even think like I'm almost trying to roll it this way. Then when I want to make it smaller and shorter and harder, I'll get more fastball and just kind of get on it like this. But if I start going like this, it starts getting slurvier and slurvier and slurvier. And then when I get on it more, it's just more down. When I get on it, it'll be like 87, 88, 89. Slurvy will be like 84, 85. But yeah, I'm like always manipulating the slider. And then that pitch I can go to anywhere. I got the most feel with this pitch. And then cutter, I throw a little cutter too. It's like a little spike. It's almost like off my four seam. So my four seam's here, which I try to
have that finger split there. You're just touching and then.
Yeah. But I actually talked to Garrett Cole at the All-Star game. He helped me, man, a lot with my four seam. He's got actually tiny hands. He's got smaller hands than I do. And the big thing he told me about his four seam, which was great, man, because like my four seam, like I kind of lost it. I lost the feel for it. And he told me like he throws it with his fingers together. His actually stay together. Mine just naturally don't do that, so I don't try to force it. But he throws his with his fingers literally together. And he said what he's trying to do is when he releases the ball, which I understand, and I'm trying to get to that point. This is where I'm getting pretty good. When he releases the ball, he wants to release the ball off both fingers at the same time, which is hard to do because our fingers are longer. So like it made a lot of sense to me when I was talking to him